the reality is the questions across the system, because it depends on your perspective of where you are. Is it fair that we spend the least amount of money on the youngest children in the system and the most money on those further up the system? And we talk a lot about gap analysis, and we talk a lot about the children not making the progress that they should. Is that because we should be spending more money on the younger children and investing in an education for them? Is there a conversation to have around, should we be putting the same amount of money for children, the fair funding formula as it was as being referred to? Should we simply put money equally for every child across the country? Well, no, because some of the costs in cities are greater. Getting a member of staff to the central London, inner London, is, the cost of living is much higher than it would be in other parts of the country. But are we respecting every city? So Manchester and Liverpool and Birmingham, and others around the country. So is the funding formula fair? No, it's that there are disparities in that funding. There are lots of examples where borders between local authorities or counties mean that staff would be rather be in one county than another because the funding is different between them. There is certainly differences in the funding of EHCPs, the education healthcare plans. There's definitely differences of funding in notional funding for children with special education needs and disabilities. So have we got it right? I don't think we have. We've been pinching money from Peter to pay Paul for a while. The money in further education has definitely dropped, but there's a question of, is that just trying to save money, or is that being more efficient? Not necessarily, because they tend to be in schools the smallest classes. There's a big issue about fair funding, and have we got it right? I'm not convinced that we have. And I think we need to stand back and look again at what we expect. So what does the education system actually pay for? What do we expect it to pay for? And there's lots of conversation at the moment, and certainly the narrative from government is this whole thing about what we're expecting of teachers to be. And are they loco parentis in what parents are providing? And should parents be doing more and more? Are they social services provision? Are they a gateway to those facilities? There's lots of big questions to answer. And I don't think funding is necessarily the place that you would have that conversation, although I think funding is not necessarily distributed as it should be at the point of need across the system. Is it broken? Well, it's still working at the moment, but it's creaking at the edges.